Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful Wednesday. I'm sure a lot of you are off of work today. I know that everywhere I've been, it's been a little bit quieter. Not a lot of people were in my first yoga class. And I don't know, my husband's off of work. We've got people in town. So I'm assuming that your schedule is a little bit off kilter. So keeping that in mind, let's talk Thanksgiving strategy. So there's a lot of ways that we can handle this, and I want you to think about, what is this holiday about? It's about spending time with your family, friends, and being grateful for the abundance in your life. So that's what Thanksgiving is about. Remember that you should enjoy yourself tomorrow, tonight, if you're hanging out with your friends, right? This is a joyous time. We don't want to be consumed with thoughts about food. We don't want to feel guilty about eating anything, but we also don't need to be gluttonous unless that's what you want to do. So I'm actually going to have that be strategy number one. If Thanksgiving is your day when you just pig out, and maybe you even do like a big breakfast and then your family does a big meal and then you have more stuff in the nighttime with cocktails and desserts and all of that. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you should do. Number one, I'm writing this down. Gluttony. But let that be a conscious choice that you make. Know that going in, if this is how I go, if I go full bore tomorrow, morning to evening, how am I gonna feel the next day? If you can say, oh gosh, I don't feel so great, but it was so worth it and I'm gonna go work out, then that's what you should do. Great, you are making the conscious choice. Number two, what can you do? Just be mindful the entire day. If you are choosing to track your macros, first of all, that's not what I'm advising. I am not gonna track my macros tomorrow, at least during my Thanksgiving meal. I might track at breakfast, but I probably will just not track all day. But eat a breakfast that is mostly protein. Have some eggs. Have some egg whites. Have an egg white omelet. Have some eggs and veggies. Maybe you have a protein shake or a green smoothie with protein powder in it. Because you're probably going to get your fill of carbohydrates and fats during your main Thanksgiving meal. So have as many carbs and fats available for your Thanksgiving meal so that you know that, yeah, I'm probably going to be over my carbs and fats today, but it's not nearly as bad as it would have been if I had had my normal breakfast. Even if my normal breakfast is, pretty decent, I might cut back on a piece of toast. And if I normally have an egg breakfast burrito, I might just have the egg instead of having the tortilla. If I'm normally eating eggs and oatmeal, I'm just going to have the eggs and not the oatmeal. So start to set up your day so that you have all of your carbs and fats, or the majority of your carbs and fats, available for your Thanksgiving meal. So that's option two. Save carbs and fats for Thanksgiving meal. Strategy three, when you get to your Thanksgiving meal, assess the situation. What here do I truly, truly want? What here am I not gonna get any other day of the year? Maybe you've got a family member in town and he or she makes the most amazing fill in the blank. You must have that. It does not matter what the macros are on that. It's your favorite. You never get it, so let's have that. Okay, I'm gonna have that, so I'm gonna pass on those bastardized sweet potatoes. Like, the things that people do to sweet potatoes are just naughty. Why do we need to mess up a sweet potato? But alas, people do that. You can have a sweet potato anytime you want, so why not save those carbs for whatever it is that Aunt Sally makes, so you're not eating a sweet potato that has a bunch of gross stuff on it that you don't even really like. So just make sure that you're enjoying everything you really, really want to enjoy, and you're not just putting, like, if stuffing's not your thing, don't eat stuffing. Like, my mom just makes stuffing from the box and it's not that great. I don't eat her stuffing. Now, my father-in-law's stuffing is delicious, and I absolutely will eat some of his stuffing. So just make sure you're prioritizing your food. I want you to think about indulging responsibly. So unless gluttony is your MO tomorrow, look around, see what your must-haves are, and assess or create your strategy from there. Now, number two, after you assess the situation, you've got your favorite things on your plate or the things that you know you must have. Like for me, my must have is pie. Pie is not a frequent thing, and I love pie. I love pie crust. I love cherry pie, pumpkin pie, apple pie, all the pie I love. So I know that because I love the pie, I don't want to eat too many mashed potatoes. I can make mashed potatoes anytime I want. So, but when you're building your plate, fill it up with protein. I mean, we're eating turkey for crying out loud. Turkey is a lean protein. Even if you're eating the dark meat, there's a lot worse things we could be eating. So fill up your plate with protein. Then fill it up with veggies, whether it's green beans or Brussels sprouts or, not spaghetti squash, but winter squash, not spaghetti. Why do I keep on saying spaghetti squash? The orange squash, butternut squash. I'm making 2 butternut squash recipes tomorrow. It's protein and veggies. You can do really well during Thanksgiving and not have to stress about it. So that's what I'm gonna have. I'm gonna have my turkey, as much turkey as I want, because you really can't overeat on the turkey. It comes to a point where you're like, I don't want any more turkey. And then I make this, if you get me my emails, I make a quinoa, butternut squash, and pistachio stuffing. It's got spinach leaves in it. I'll post everything in here. And then I'm also making some Brussels sprouts that are sweetened with a little bit of maple syrup. It's got gorgonzola cheese and pecans. It's also served with barley. I don't put the barley in though because my husband is, he's got celiac, so this way he can eat it. So it's really great, right? Nothing wrong with any of these 3 things. Nothing wrong at all. So it's protein, it's vegetables, and it's pumpkin pie. That is how I personally approach the day. I don't like eating till I'm stuffed, but again, if this is your day and you want to really stuff it up, go for it. Just know that's what you're doing going in, and there cannot be any regrets later in the day or on Friday. Okay, that's our motive. No regrets. RAGRATS. No regrets. And then the other thing is, here's another thing you can do. You can do a little bit of intermittent fasting. We have not talked about intermittent fasting yet, but you're going to shorten your feeding window. So if you normally eat breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to push that back as late as we can. Let's say your first meal is at noon. Let's say your family eats at 2, but you're starving by noon. So you're going to have your first meal. You're going to break your fast at noon. Again, break it with something that's protein-based, maybe in some vegetable, because you know you're going to be eating pretty darn quickly. And then you can eat whatever you want at your Thanksgiving meal. Shut down your feeding window at 8 o'clock at night. So you have 8 hours to eat, 16 hours not to eat, and you just had a day of intermittent fasting. So when you shorten your feeding window, most of the time you're not going to eat as much. This is not my talk on intermittent fasting. I'll address that next week. But you say, okay, I can eat whatever I want between 12 and 6. There you go. That's another way to handle the situation. Now, what's going to get us into trouble? Those of you who are visiting 2 Thanksgiving dinners, 2 or more, you need to know what you're going to do. What are you going to do at the first house? What are you going to do at the second house? What does that look like? I can't tell you what to do, but I want you to know going ahead. Okay, I'm going to have turkey at mom's and turkey at dad's. I'll have turkey at both places, but I'll have mashed potatoes at mom's, stuffing at dad's. I won't have pie at mom's house, but I will have pie at dad's house. Whatever that looks like. But I wouldn't advise having everything at both houses unless we go back to number 1 and it's your day to stuff your face without regret. The other thing, the alcohol. Okay, alcohol. So you might start partying tonight because I know that's a thing that people do. So if you've got friends and family coming into town and you kick it off with a little pre-party on Wednesday night, don't let your pre-party lead to post-party snacks. Okay? So that's the biggest thing for me. It's not that alcohol is so bad. For me, it's what happens after the alcohol. It's the chips, the salsa, not the salsa, but chips, cookies, anything that's in the house that I wouldn't normally eat, it'll get eaten. So just know that if I'm going to drink, I'm going to drink responsibly. I'm not telling you how many drinks to have. I'm just making sure that you know when you drink, you overeat. Don't let that then also impact your Thanksgiving meal. If you're having wine with your meal, how much wine are you going to have? or even at the end of the day. Let's say you follow your plan all the way until, after your Thanksgiving meal, but then that's when all the cocktails come out. And now you have all the leftovers laying around, and you were able to say no to the things that you are only like about. But once the alcohol starts flowing, sometimes those things start to look really, really good. Or things that you wouldn't normally in your right mind eat, you're like, yeah. Like my aunt makes these amazing potatoes that have like 4 kinds of cheese, cream, and butter, and God knows what else on them. They are delicious. But now that I understand nutrition, I can eat like this much of them, and I'd rather have like a sweet potato or more of other food. But if I've had cocktails, you better believe I will eat those cheesy, amazing, buttery potatoes by the handful, just because they're there and because I've had some cocktails. I'm like, whatever. But don't let alcohol derail your best intentions. Keep in mind, this holiday is about being grateful, being surrounded with your friends and your family, and having fun. I don't want you to feel restricted in any way. I want you to enjoy all of your favorite things. Indulge responsibly. Make sure that you have some sort of plan, even if your plan is number 1, to be a glutton. Maybe you're eating a little bit less today and you're going to eat a little bit less on Friday, so that Thursday you can eat all of everything. That's cool. I just want you to make the choice that you are comfortable with in the moment, and you will be in the future. So that's how you need to approach this situation. I'm looking at this situation from my future best self. What would my future best self do in this scenario? And then your answers are made for you. Your plan is made. Keep in mind also, food and working out it's not a transactional relationship. Just because you run the turkey trot tomorrow doesn't mean you get to eat more of something else. Let's just sever that relationship. It's not transactional. You get to eat because you're alive and we need food. We work out because we love our bodies and we want to be strong and healthy and fit. The two, while both help us, the two, like I said, it's not transactional. Just because you work out doesn't mean you need to get to eat more. Just because you don't work out doesn't mean that you need to eat less. So just keep that in mind. Don't think that you deserve something just because you go work out tomorrow. Let's just get that verbiage out of our heads totally, because that's not healthy. But yeah, the point is, go in with a plan. Pre-eat if you need to. Break your fast later if you need to. Shorten your feeding window if you need to. Limit your cocktails if you need to. Focus on your must-haves. Fill up your plate with protein and vegetables. Enjoy all the foods that you want to enjoy. And don't forget to tell people how grateful you are for them. I am super grateful for you. Again, I'm not tracking macros tomorrow. I am not going to post the macro screenshot tomorrow because I don't advise tracking macros on Thanksgiving Day. If you, for some reason, were going to be up on stage or being judged based on how you look, maybe. But I don't think anybody in here fits that bill. So you guys have a wonderful evening. If you are kicking off your festivities tonight, have lots of fun. And we will talk to you. I'll have a brief message in the morning, but we'll regroup on Friday, hopefully with no regrets. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.